Hi, I'm Ed Bacon, the rector of All Saints Church, Pasadena. Whoever you are and wherever you find yourself on the journey of faith, I hope that you'll find something here that speaks to you. Welcome.
October is a time of great inspiration for me because we hear the witnesses of people at All Saints Church telling us why they give. I'm going to ask Ruben Sanchez to come to the lectern, and we baptized Ruben and his wife Micheline Wong's baby at the 9 o'clock service, and he has been talking about that and their family's relationship at All Saints and their giving. Will you please warmly welcome Ruben Sanchez.
Thank you. It really is an honor to be up here today talking to you about stewardship. As Ed said, at 9 o'clock, my son was baptized, and after the 9 o'clock service, he had, I think, what Ed would characterize as a glory attack, and he's off at home sleeping it off now. So, but I want to preface my remarks by saying that for the past 11 years that my wife and I have been members at All Saints Church, we have actually never put an offering in the basket. Now, Ed, I don't know why you wanted me to get up here and talk about giving, but more on that later, I promise. My wife and I first came to All Saints Church on Homecoming Sunday 2001. For those of you that remember, that was a Sunday after 9/11. Wilma had just started her 9 or 10-year journey full-time here at that time, and I can't believe she's leaving now. And Micheline and I were church shopping. But there was something about that Sunday here at All Saints Church. The mood of the country, the music, the homecoming energy and festivities, Ed Bacon's sermon. No, it couldn't be that. But there was something that wanted us to come back to All Saints Church again and again and again and again. Micheline and I went on to finish medical school at the University of Southern California. Ed Bacon married us at our alma mater, Occidental College, a few years later. Micheline did an obstetrics gynecology residency and fellowship. I did an ophthalmology residency. But we still found time to do Covenant 1, also known as All Saints 101. We ushered, sometimes with our scrubs, with our pagers, hosted newcomers' coffee, led 2 All Saints 101 groups, went through Covenant 2, and have served as faith partners for the Youth Seekers program. We both are very blessed to have fantastic jobs now at Kaiser Permanente. No, not down here at the Walnut offices, I wish. Micheline works in Woodland Hills, and I work in the Antelope Valley, and we live here in Pasadena. And our lives changed completely for the better on May 2nd of this year with the arrival of Jonah. He was 3 weeks early. So people always ask us, you live in Pasadena, but she works in the San Fernando Valley, and you work in the Antelope Valley. Why don't you just move to Santa Clarita or something? To people that don't know us so well, we always say, well, we love Pasadena and can't imagine living anywhere else. But to people that really know us and love us, we answer, we really love All Saints Church and can't imagine a life without it. The energy, the people, the love of the community have been there to celebrate with us, like this morning when our son was baptized, but more importantly, have embraced us when times were tough. Ed Bacon calling me after I broke my hip when I was in the hospital. Susan Russell and Wilma checking in on us right after Jonah was born. His first 30 minutes of life were terrifying, but his lungs are strong enough now. Louise Emerson Brooks stopping by our house for a completely unrelated matter and letting me vent about my frustrations with private practice at the time, and then she just turned to me and said, "What about working for Kaiser?" She kind of changed my life that day, Susan. So you can't put a price on any of these things, but when Micheline and I had the opportunity to give generously, there was no question that we would. Why wouldn't we? It's not always easy. For those of you who have kids, you know that they're not cheap. But because our family has always been so fortunate, we feel, rather, we were actually raised to share that blessing with others. As it flows in, some of it should also flow out. And no, tithing or giving to All Saints Church doesn't buy grace. Actually, Micheline and I are rarely at the food bank passing out food or physically present at the protests or rallies that All Saints Church is organizing. And let's face it, these days it's a good Sunday when we can leave the house at 9 a.m. and make it here in time for the sermon. But Micheline, Jonah, and I know that we are still an important part of the fabric and energy of All Saints because of the money that we give. So many of us first came to All Saints and became members of All Saints Church because of the important seat that this place has at the table of God's radically inclusive love. The ability that All Saints Church has to affect local, national, and international policy is second to none. But ladies and gentlemen, the seat is not cheap. So, for those of you that are sitting in the audience that cannot tithe or give generously this season, it's okay. Don't sweat it. Micheline and I sat where you sat for 10 years and couldn't do it. Couldn't even come close. But if you just look at Matthew 6 or Luke 11, however you want to read it, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So please give what you can. So yes, I said earlier, it's true, we have never placed an offering in the basket, but we do have All Saints Church set up on our online bill pay. And I actually just gave electronically generously from our resources. So Ed, Susan, Wilma, Zelda, if you see me on my iPhone during one of your sermons, it's not because it's boring. None of your sermons are ever boring. It's because I'm giving generously from the resources of our labor. And speaking of sermons, one of my favorite things about Susan Russell's sermons is the fact that they're short. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually how she ends her sermons with a hymn. Now, I can't sing, just ask my wife, or if you've sat next to me in church, you probably have figured that out too. But I thought this piece would be an appropriate closure. So, with gratitude and humble trust, we bring our best to thee, to serve thy cause and share thy love with all humanity. Help us to give ourselves each day until life's work is done. So as we sing this hymn in a few minutes, we hope, something that I said or something that we did or something that's taking place in this stewardship season speaks to you and inspires you to be generous. Grace in action. Amen.
Thanks, Ruben.